Yeah, I'm so not Greek.
No?
When it comes to that sort of thing,
I was like, really?
God, I am the least Greek person. My Greek relatives.
That's a Scottish
it's
name.
about as, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Czech, actually. It's funny because here we go. We're talking, aren't we? But
Are you rolling?
Oh, wow.
Just jumping right into it.
Yeah.
So you're saying?
So Papadopoulos is the most common Greek name on the planet.
Okay.
If there was like a map of the world, and
Yeah.
instead of countries, it was the most common name, Papadopoulos is over Greece.
Really?
Yeah, it's like Smith, McDonald, Muhammad.
So it's Papadopoulos, not Papadopoulos.
Yeah, if you were to do it, Papadopoulos.
Papadopoulos, okay.
But I say Papadopoulos or Papadopoulos.
Yeah.
Papa. People, when I say Papadopoulos, they will spell it P-O-P-P-A, P-O-P-A. But it's simple. It's Papa, P-A-P-A,
Yep.
Dopoulos, D-O-P-O-U-L-O-S. And that's it. Some people put P-L-I-S. And it's like, okay, don't Ellis Island me.
Yeah.
Or people said, oh, we should shorten your name to Papas.
Papas, yeah.
Like, this isn't 1950s New
Yeah.
York. I'm not changing my name.
Well, and you're also Pappy TV on your Insta, which is just so much easier to write.
Oh, yeah. TV Pappy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it should have been
TV
Pappy.
Pappy.
The reason why is my mentor, this guy, Chris Greaves, first guy gave me my real job.
Yeah.
First real job, with Chris Greaves, and he was Greaves TV. So I was thinking Pappy TV, and I thought, I'll just switch it up, TV Pappy.
Yeah.
And everybody laughed at me when I first did. I'm like, oh yeah, I should have, but I've already made my Yahoo email address.
Yahoo.
And then from then on, everything has been TV Pappy.
Yeah.
It should have been Pappy TV.
Pappy TV works.
But TV Pappy
You can
is fine
change
too.
it still.
Like, no.
You just don't.
54? How do you change that at 54?
I mean,
You know what? I can.
Yeah,
You're right. I
you
can.
should.
I can do whatever that I want.
yeah.
Huh. I'm going to have some water.
Yeah. Get some water. I know, yeah.
could.
Online, we don't give a fuck, to be honest. So it's like, this is like, for what we do here, I just want this to be a very casual conversation.
What do you do here?
What do I do? That's actually a really good question.
I turn the tables.
You couldn't help yourself because you're used to sitting here.
Yes, I am.
Right? And so, like, for the quick role reversal, right? Like, I almost want to role reverse, be like, tell us more about yourself before I do this. But you do a lot of interviews, and so you know how there's a dance that happens, right? So what do I do here? So it's kind of an interesting question because I don't truly understand yet where I'm going, but I'm in the middle of two places where I know where they are.
Gotcha. I understand completely.
Yeah. So about 5 years ago, I was a commercial photographer locally, and I could see things changing, right? And I knew I needed to get into video. Started to do video. A little thing called COVID came along and ruined that idea. So then waited, learned some CGI while getting bored at home, and then ended up going back to work as video stills directly. And I noticed that we're really decent at it, but we could be so much better at it if we brought in someone. And so enter Brady. Brady at the time was working with another company. And I said to him, like, when you come out, shoot with me. And he came out and did the shoot and realized that he enjoyed it a lot. And then over the time, we started developing out the idea of kind of like a unicorn company, where it's like you bring one company in to do stills and videos at the same time. Right. So that's how I transitioned to being a director, because now I'm a director. And then when we say cut, then I pick up a still camera and I'm like, okay, let's redo that again. Bring that light closer so we have cleaner light for the stills. Done. Next. And so it works really well, but it needs a certain, it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I currently am technically, but this place changed everything. So we opened up the studio earlier in the year, and we wanted it to be something different. So we wanted it to be a place where you could grow creatives. We wanted it to be a place where you could explore creativity, but also be somewhere where you could, as a brand, get stuff done quickly. And that's what this room is for, basically.
Love this room, by the way.
I think this is my favorite room at the studio.
Oh, for
Even
sure.
though you can do more in the back room, you can make anything happen. Like we have a green screen back there right now,
Yeah.
which is going to be a commercial, and this going to be great fun. But this, to me, represents the kind of the streamlining of everything that people need right now, right? Which is lots and lots of content in a simple way. Right. So that's kind of where I kind of am right now. And then we realized that there needs to be an overriding voice that happens in this process, but it also needs to happen from the start. And so I'm actually transitioning to strictly creative director, where I will be kind of directing brands through their journey as a brand and what they need to do.
Very cool.
That's what I'm up to now. Yeah.
I love where we are. I love everything you just said. And I love the fact that how many people now are grads of the program I teach at. There's Trina over there who's controlling everything right now.
Yep.
There's Brady in the back right now doing his thing.
Chris
Cook.
Yep.
Rob Housem when he's visiting.
Rob Housem, yeah.
Who's out west.
Yep. Victor.
Emmy nominated Rob Housem.
Amazing. I mean, he's, out of all the people I know who slung a camera, he has earned that role, like that title.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
And he's Victor Cooper. So we got a bunch of there's a little loyalist history.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
And I think the thing that this should be a big sign for us is that you don't need to be in those main centers anymore. You don't need to be in LA. No. You don't need to be in New York. You don't need to be in London, right? You can just go out there and start building out something that looks really cool and different locally, right?
And that was definitely the case. Back when I was I graduated 25 years ago. And it was, Toronto, Vancouver, maybe Montreal if you're bilingual, New York, LA.
Yep.
London. I don't even think Dubai at the time was on the scene yet.
Dubai's been the last 15 years.
Yeah. And that was many more years before that started. So it was limited, where you could be in the world. And of course, English speaking. So these days, that's completely untrue. And it was funny because I started teaching, in 2011? So 12 years ago, it was quite a different landscape as well in the industry. So we were graduating students and they had to go to Toronto or Vancouver or Montreal or New York or LA. And most of them were, wishing to go to Toronto, but it was tough to afford to live there, first of all, getting the gigs, and then being able to afford a lifestyle out there. Yeah. Now, our best students are not in Toronto. No, I shouldn't say that. We have great students who are in Toronto. We have great students in Vancouver. And we have a plethora, I like that word, plethora of really good students, excellent students who are still here in town and making shit happen. Yeah. That's cool.
I think at the core of the studio, learning is key, right? And I know exactly where that came from. So when I was 21, I moved over to Canada and decided I didn't want to do what I had learned to do at school, which was electricity. Basically, I did the wiring on the hydro wires and stuff like that, fresh out of college. So I knew how to do that if I wanted. Right. Hydro One was hiring at whatever role I was doing at the time was like 98 grand to start. And I was like,
why would you leave that?
Right, exactly, yeah. And so but I sat there and said, I want to hold a camera. I want to be behind a camera and I want to be a photographer. And, at the time we were 35 mil, right? So went out and got myself a K1000 Pentax and that's how I started my work, basically. And there was no internet shows teaching you how to do camera stuff. Right. There were books. You bought a book to learn about photography. YouTube didn't exist back then. We're talking like 21 years. Yeah. So for me, when I moved over, there was no pathway. And so I started and made every single mistake possible. I went and did weddings. I think so too. I like that way. And I think I don't learn any other way. Yeah. So that might be daft of me, but yeah.
It's not because, yes, there are, as an educator, you learn about, there's multiple ways there's multiple learners. Yes. And multiple modalities and so on. Oh, these terms that I don't like using. I love this,
yeah. My wife's a teacher, so you're not going to scare me with edubabble.
Right.
Okay. So feel free to,
I don't want to scare them away though.
No, it's fine. We'll just put it up on the screen. We'll just put a little disclaimer. This is what this means. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Okay. So modality. Yeah. And different modalities and different ways of learning. There's visual learners, there's hands-on. I need to read about this and so on. And out of all that, I think if you never learn to make a mistake, you'll never properly learn. And I always say this, and I've said it before in another podcast, where you need to burn to learn. Yep. The idea that I can tell you as a little kid, fire is hot. Yep. That is hot. Do not touch that. Mm-hmm. I can say it 10 times. Yep. And when I turn away, kid's going to go, yep. Ow. Yeah. It's hot. Now you had to burn to learn. You have to experience it. You have to make that mistake. Mm-hmm. And if you're a firefighter, how are you learning to put out fires if it's a perfect situation every time? Yeah. You have to be thrown into the mix.
Well, and now they've named it in a different way. And I think it's a detriment because it actually kind of puts a bit more emphasis on the failure, right? And they say, fuck around and find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So there's already a negative connotation there. When burn to learn, you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, this can't be that bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like, how hard could it be? Like that term there, like when you walk into a job and you're like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to flub my way through until I make it, right? And people say, fake it till you make it. I just say, make it until you make it.
Make it until you make it, yes.
Right? And your first making might be horrible. Like if I look back at our first videos that we did here, guarantee you that much worse than what we're doing now and much worse than what we'll be doing in the future.
Right.
That's just how it goes. It's called experience.
As it should be. Yep.
Right? So with that in mind, if we take you back to the beginning of your learning, because I'd like to,
learning.
I'd like to focus in on creative learning today and talk about that. And I'd like to kind of go through the ages of like where you kind of got into learning creativity. And then we'll go into like where I got in, and then we'll go into where the kids are learning today and what they have that's good for them and what's bad for them. Because I do believe people don't like mistakes as much these days. And they kind of hide them. And I like to show mistakes. I like to show.
Yeah, because jumping ahead to today. Yeah. I say it to the students. I'll say we should, and not fully celebrate, but we should celebrate failure to a degree. Yep. And by celebration, it's not like, yay party, but celebrate by let's analyze the failure. Yep. And that's like anybody should. Okay, so we made a mistake. Good. Mm-hmm. What did you learn from it? Yeah. And we every time there's a project, especially in the more advanced years, a specialization project, a remote event project, or whatever, there's always a report that I ask them to do, and it's 3 paragraphs. First paragraph: what went well? I don't really care. You can brag all you want about how great everybody was and how great you were. Fine, great, whatever.
Yeah, it's very apparent what went well.
Yeah. And the second paragraph: what didn't go so well? Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you being honest? Are you going to throw people under the bus? Yep. Honesty is the best policy. Yep. I fucked up. I did this. Yeah. I did that. This person did this and I didn't. Whatever. Be real. Good. That's fine. There's the honesty. But the most important paragraph: what would you do differently next time? Mm-hmm. Or if you had to give advice to the next person doing this job you just did, what advice would you give them? What tips would you give them? Yep. Or all the above. Yep. And that is usually the paragraph I jump to. I'll skim through the first paragraph. Oh, yeah, you're great. Everybody's great. Wonderful. Good. Whatever. Fuck off. Second paragraph: are you being honest? No, you're throwing people on the bus? Okay. Yep. Third paragraph: that's where the learning happens. Mm-hmm. What did you learn? You burned. In second paragraph, I want to hear about the burn. Yeah. In the third paragraph, okay, what did you learn from that burn? Yep. And that really is where I think in life,
that's the learning.
It should be. Yeah. I'm not perfect in that regard, that's for sure. I've made the same mistake over and over again in my time. But there are certain things. Did I hear a laugh over there? Yeah. You hear that? That's my wife.
The peanut gallery.
The peanut gallery.
Do we have no, I don't have a camera.
I don't have a camera. Yeah, but I've certainly made some. But you do learn from those mistakes. Yeah. Really quick.
Really quick with you?
With me, impossible.
Bring in some scotch.
Ooh. I build decks and fences and do that sort of thing in the summertime to use my hands more than I do the rest of the year. And there is constantly making mistakes and learning from them all the time. And a guy I work with, he does a lot of general contracting stuff. So he's a master of a bunch of stuff, jack of a bunch of stuff and master of a few. Yep. One thing he doesn't know is how to store concrete bags.
So you have like rock hard concrete bags?
I saw it rained last night. I said, please tell me you tarped it. You tarped it or at the very least. And he goes, yeah, it's covered up. And I thought covered up is not good enough. It's on a cement pad. Mm-hmm. And the water's going to go in. So all the bottom concrete, solid as a rock. So we lost 8 bags today. Yeah. And I said, what'd you learn today, Keith? What'd you learn today, Keith?
Bring a pallet.
Bring a pallet. Yeah. And that's actually what we said. He said, well, I had a pallet that I put on so we could put on the trailer. I said, you should have got 2 pallets. Mm-hmm. And then, anyways, but this is the thing. He went through that mistake. He will never do that again. Yeah. He will know. And that's I like to think that through life. And that's why we say to students, you should be lifelong learners. Practice lifelong learning. Another cheesy term that I when I hear it from somebody else, I'm like, oh God. But it's true. It's so fucking true. You have to be a lifelong learner. If you approach life with, oh, now I know it. Now I'm fine. I'm fine. I know this already. I know it all.
Yeah. I did that. An open mindset.
Yeah. Open mindset. Exactly. I did that when I was 27, 28-ish. Yeah. And got slapped back down to reality and, keep on reminding myself, you don't know it all.
Well, I do want to find out if I know how to pour this scotch properly. So I'm going to get you to test. You're going to pour out some sextant for us.
As I was saying that last story there and you had mentioned scotch, I was like shut up, Paul. Let him pour the scotch. I get to pour this? Yeah.
This is so this. I'll give you a little bit of background on this.
Okay. I'll open it as you.
Yeah, open
okay.
it because it's a little bit of a palaver. So, this Scotch I found during COVID and ended up picking up a bottle, and you couldn't buy it really regularly in Canada, so I had to like order it in, and I ordered it in. Now it's a $50 bottle of Scotch. I know.
That's a decent
That's
price,
probably
man.
one of the cheapest Scotches I'll buy.
That
to be
Bushmills single malt
Yeah.
is another. This is Irish, right?
Yep. So this is not Scotch. This is Irish whiskey.
Irish whiskey. You can't call it Scotch, right?
Exactly.
Right. Yes.
So that's why I was like, okay, what's the difference? So I actually collected probably 5 or 6 bottles. Yeah, go for it. Have a
So
sniff.
which glass are you using, by the way?
I'll use the tanker here. So
Okay, you're
and then
gonna
you can
use
use
this.
your fancy one.
That's a big pour. Sorry.
Sorry, no worries.
And I brought my own glass because I knew we were going to taste
So
some
fancy.
Scotch. This is a fun glass. But it's for a reason.
Yeah, because it helps that smell, right? So you can really funnel the different stuff.
Whoop. It isn't an easy one to pour. No,
Right?
there's a design flaw there in the pour. It didn't spill, but oh my. Oh, it did spill.
Right? You
It
can't
did.
tell because of the bottle.
Ah, wow.
See?
Okay. Angel's breath goes away.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me,
You're
and
welcome.
thank you for this.
You're welcome. So this one here is like the depth in it really gets to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
for
I feel bad
anybody-
because now we're recording this and people are going to be like, I'm going to try some of this. And it's right now it's pretty easy to find. My guess is it's going to go up and it's going to be hard to find.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, first sip. Hello. Little ASMR for them.
That's like the bong sounds we used to make as kids.
And adults.
Yeah.
In my ear.
Yeah, like that? Some? Not too bad, eh?
I have a tough time. First of all, love it.
Yep.
I'm not. Some people have this like really sophisticated palate, and
Yep.
they can dissect the various layers of what they're tasting, experiencing, and so on. I can do that, but
Okay, give me your first 3 words
sweet
that
off
come
the
to
top.
mind.
Sweet off the top,
Yeah.
which is not a bad thing.
Nope.
Okay, it's been how many seconds since I had it? A little bit of a nice warm glow, almost
Okay.
like ember.
Yep.
Burn, not burn. There's no peaty, as far as I can tell, which is nice.
So it's very interesting because the flavor afterwards, like when you're like stop for a bit, just the air going through, you'll be like, okay, there's a little oaky peatiness that's on the back end, but it's not like
Oaky.
Scotch. It's like oaky, yeah.
A little bit of caramel.
Yep. Definitely caramel, yeah.
Yeah, and a little bit of vanilla, which is, wow, this is reminding me of my favorite Scotch, Irish whiskey.
Yep.
Scotch, which is Dalwhinnie.
Dalwhinnie, yeah.
And Dalwhinnie has that vanilla toffee.
And put that against Dalwhinnie and you'll have a trouble telling the difference, which is crazy to me.
Especially when you think of price point.
I think of like the first is like that first sip of like a caramel latte.
Yes. Okay, that's
right?
it. You got it.
Right?
Yeah.
And then like the secondary is like feet on carpet, like good carpet. Right?
Shag carpet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
it was
a comfortable shag
comfortable
carpet.
shag carpet.
Yeah.
And then it follows up with that kind of woodsy kind of grain that you get on like untreated wood that's been left out in the rain. That's kind of where I go.
You know what I'm thinking of right now, and not the smell, but the idea. You know when you have a barbecue, charcoal barbecue.
Yes.
And you finish cooking burgers, steaks, chicken, whatever you're cooking, and it's like, but the embers are perfect right now, but I've got nothing else to cook.
Yeah.
It's like a waste. I feel like I'm at that stage where I'm like, oh my God, the embers are perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
The perfect heat,
Yep.
the perfect smell, flavor, everything. This is really phenomenal. Wow.
I told you. So you and I have had a few Scotch conversations, and this is like, for me, is like being able to introduce people to this is really key, because a lot of Scotch drinkers or not Scotch drinkers, when they drink this, are like, oh, this is really nice. And then when they find out it's Irish whiskey, like just a single malt, they're just amazed by it. So, yeah.
But essentially, it's exactly the same thing as Scotch.
Yeah.
It just can't be called Scotch.
It just
by
can't be-
law.
because of a zoning.
Right.
It's a zoning issue.
Yep.
That's what it is. So.
It's funny that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, my first introduction to Scotch, well, I might have had like, some Dewars or whatever,
Yeah.
like blended
Famous
Scotch.
grouse or whatever, yeah.
And I was like, how do you drink that stuff? And I was like, no, thanks. And that was when I was probably in my late teens, early 20s.
Yep.
And I said no to Scotch. I don't like Scotch, period.
Yep.
Not knowing that there's a whole rainbow of whiskey out there. And so Jack Daniels became a thing for me, and I like Jack Daniels. My roommates, Simon and Kirk at the time, were drinking Lagavulin. just smelling at the time, I was like, petrol.
That's a hard one to get into when you first start.
Well, I refused.
Yeah.
Until they forced me, literally, they said, throw that Jack away here. Just sip this, try. I'm like, but I'm not going to.
Were you a mixer too? I feel like you're a mixer.
With the whiskey?
Yeah.
With Jack? Yeah, I was a Jack and Coke.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
No, never again.
Yep.
Then I had my first real sip of Lagavulin, and they walked me through how to drink it properly. And I was like, where have you been all my life? And it was so good. At the time, it was $80 a bottle.
Yep.
So that's a long time ago, because we know now it's literally double that, probably, for a 16-year-old.
Yep.
Right? I think the
Lagavulin, so the Lagavulin 12 is 160.
The Lagavulin 12?
Yeah, it's
so
around
how old is the 16? How expensive is the 16?
It's like 4 years older, but it's like, it's more expensive. I think it's in the twos now.
So I'm not going to have that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy that. I've got family and house and
I'm
bills.
I'm a big fan of finding a drink that's in that range where it shouldn't be. Like, this shouldn't be where it is. Right?
Yes, it should.
Yes, it totally is. Yeah. It's $140 bottle. Don't buy it. Yeah. So that's the thing that
it's a beautiful bottle too. It's a wonderful bottle. Actually, I didn't even notice. Maybe you can show this in close up later on or something. But there's like what looks
if
you
show it to that camera there behind me. So
and there's like the really cool little.
Pull it back because this is where your focus point is.
Right? Okay, right here. See,
that's gonna be the thumbnail.
Watch the hits. Just by doing this, we've gone viral.
We've gone viral. Yeah.
It's a very cool bottle. A very unique shape. What is that? Is that a sextagon? Yeah, six-sided. Yeah. Is that what was it? Sextagon? Hexagon.
Yeah, sorry.
Because septa is septagon.
Yeah. Tell me about when you got started learning. Like, what was around? Like, how did you learn? Like, you were how old? Were you going through school? Did you just end up on a film set? Like, tell me.
I mean, I'm thinking like, creativity part, like grade school stuff.
No, I'm talking like going out, you got to get a job, you want to get into this field. Did you know you wanted to get into a creative field at the beginning?
Yes. And I knew that at a very, very early age. And then poof, it went away. Why I say that is because when I was 12, I was, I'll make this really brief.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be cast on a very small show that was on Radio-Canada in Montreal. Right. And it was a Sunday morning, really short, blah, blah, blah thing. And it lasted for a summer where we shot a season's worth of this series. And then, cool, I'm on TV and poof, gone. And I thought, that'd be cool to do.
An actor?
Sorry?
An actor?
An actor, yeah. As you know, I was
interesting,
11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
And so it was always in the back of my mind, wouldn't that be cool too? And then before that thought finished, it was on to accounting, banking. My dad, retired as an international banker, and very creative man. Played instruments, could doodle and draw and paint, and was funny. In fact, when he was in university and grade school in England, he started these comedy troupes and whatever. So for him, knowing him as my father and the kind of person he was, joking all the time and arts, like he would birthday cards, he would get like some silly birthday card, but then he would doodle on it and add stuff to it to make it his own. Yeah. So I remember talking to one of his employees and so like, how do you deal with my dad? He's so nuts and whatever. Yeah. And like, oh, no, he's really, he's good at what he does. I never saw the banking side of him.
Yeah.
However, what I knew was that what he provided was travel and, a nice lifestyle basically because he was in finance. Yeah. So I thought I must pursue something similar, and accounting for some reason, money must make money if you deal with money and you know how to deal with money. So I'll probably go into accounting.
But you know what the secret is?
No.
And this is like the ultimate secret to so if you want to make more money, go closer to the handshake. That's it. Go closer to the handshake. So where's the money transacting? Go closer to it. That's it. That's all you need to do. People will make it a big...
You just gave me that's a hook right there. Yeah. I need to know more.
Yeah, so think of it this way. In any project, when there's a handshake at the top, so let's say Nike comes along to an agency and says, hey, we want to work with you. Here's $2 million. Okay? Are the camera guys getting $2 million? No. Right?
Closer to the handshake.
Closer to the handshake, right? So as you go through, the money gets parceled up to the point where what's left often is smaller, which is where most people are, right? So if you want to make more money in life, go closer to the handshake.
It's funny because when it comes to what we do, content creation, it's the content curators who tend to be, and the distributors, curators and distributors, where the money is. And they don't have an iota.
Netflix.
Sure. and for the most up until Netflix.
Right,
And,
that's your high level like handshake right there.
right. And the funny thing is, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when content creators, like, you'd see shows and go, like, how is this crap and the same people making the same crap all the time? Because they're the handshakers.
There you
to
go.
put it, me, it was like, the money person.
Yeah. So
And-
you
and see,
basically, in your mind, you already had the answer. You just didn't realize the answer was where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, so there you go.
So you're an accountant.
So I wasn't an accountant.
that what you know? You were thinking about
I
it?
was thinking about it,
Yeah.
and then I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So okay, where did my mind go? I honestly, I didn't really start thinking about what do I need to study, as opposed to I'm going to university because this one accepted me because I'm a good swimmer.
Yep.
I went to university for sports.
Okay.
I was in Virginia for swimming, water polo, rugby, and then everything that, the peripherals of what comes with that. Academics was the last on my list. So I really didn't have I was in a liberal arts college in Virginia with no real direction. Like I wasn't thinking about the end game. I was thinking, okay, I'm doing this right now because sports and sports, and party. Yeah. And when that ended prematurely, because if you're not thinking in the right priority, you're not going to last long. No. I took a year off and figured, what am I going to do? And it was with my best friend's now wife, then girlfriend, called me and said, hey, there's this ad in the Toronto Sun. I was living in Oakville at the time. And it's looking for people to audition for this National Institute of Broadcasting. And if you're good enough, you can be accepted in this program and become a voiceover, blah, blah, blah. Because I at the time, and still do with my friends only, do voices and whatever and just joke around, just fuck around, really. She's like, why should you turn that into a career? I'm like, hey, why not? So I called the number.
Don't you love that when someone says that to you? You're like, oh, you should do this for a living. You're like, yeah, I should. Yeah, That's how I ended up as a photographer.
Really?
Yeah, basically my mom's cousin who was down from London was like, oh, your photos are, because I was just messing around with the camera for a summer. Like, oh, your photos are beautiful. They could go into an art gallery in London. And that's what set me off, is like, oh, I'm actually a decent photographer. Even though I sucked. And if I look back at those photos now, I'd be like, oh my God, what were you thinking? Yeah. But that was just the catalyst I needed. And for me, I had this false sense of I'm good at this. And then just for
false sense?
At that point, yeah. Well, I could show you those pictures. It's like literally a fence.
Yeah, but
with like the sun in the background. Deep and moody, that kind of shit. You know?
Yeah, but it touched somebody.
Absolutely, yeah. So now, as a result, I went through that. Yeah. And as I grew, then I was like, oh, I could do this different, do this. And then my stuff eventually got better. But it's only from doing it that it got better. Right? You can never get better at something if you don't do it, period. Yeah. Right? And so that for me was just the catalyst I needed to get going and to make me to the point, just the same as your friends were like, hey, you could do this for a living. And you're like, yeah, I could. And then you looked into it. I
looked into it. I did the National Institute of Broadcasting thing. Total scam. Don't care if you hear that. NIB scam. Several $1,000s. Thanks, Dad, for paying for that. And then realized, okay, this particular avenue is not going to work for me. No. But it resurrected that idea of when I was 12 as a kid actor.
Yeah. So how old are you at this point?
21, 22. Yeah, 20, well, around there. Okay. I'm not exactly sure. 21, 22. Yeah. Was around the Gulf War. So what was that? 1990, 91? 90, yeah, 90, so 21, 22. That was for me. Yeah. Yep. There you go. Now you know my age. 54. And it resurrected the idea.
Make sure he's telling the truth. At least it's like,
you don't like that, dude. I realized, okay, this isn't for me, but I do want to pursue something creative now that I've had a taste of this, which is not for me. Yep. But it's in the realm of the creative world. Yeah. What can I do? And I like the acting thing. I like the TV aspect more than the radio aspect or voiceover aspect. And I looked at different universities that offered that in Canada, and Ryerson was Toronto Metropolitan University. Ryerson at the time was the primary place to go.
So you got your formal education through there.
Yeah, but I went in and I was like, okay, I want to get in this program. Yeah. My GPA wasn't good enough, so I took a year of diploma in arts, and then I finally applied myself, got in, and I could easily say the rest is history. It pretty much is. Everything from the moment I started at Ryerson, I can pinpoint from where I am today, I can see the connections to that first, like to that moment.
Yeah.
Everything stemmed from that moment for the rest of my life.
Because that education you got was pivotal, and it was like exactly
100%.
what you needed to
Exactly
have,
what I needed.
right?
Yeah.
And like, as for me, my education was the worst thing I could have had. Like,
Was it, though?
because I was in science and tech and all of that, which had nothing to do with what I liked. So
But did you know that going into it,
Yes.
or you did going into it? You knew that.
So the way it works in France is a little different than it probably is a lot different now. But back then it was like you needed to have a certain score to get into applied arts.
Okay.
Right. So for me, I was like, I want to get into the applied arts, but my math and sciences weren't strong enough.
They were not strong enough.
So they put me in general technology, which ended up becoming a génie électrotechnique.
Okay.
Right. So I went through all of that. And the first year, they're like, just do this, get your grades up, and then go back through. But the thing is when you're in a new language, learning all this stuff, you can't get your grades up very easy.
I know this firsthand as well.
Right?
Yep.
So you end up going through this cycle. And so I ended up staying in there, and I'm getting pushed through the system through the sciences and the tech. And so the moment I was done, I was out of there. And it's funny because I had a 51 average, which meant I just got it. And the teacher, when he's shaking my hand, he's like, please don't ever work in this field. I was like, I have no plan on doing it. But I had the record for the most absences and getting through.
Wow.
Yep.
So you had the brains, you just didn't have the heart for it.
I spent my time in the music room with mates, hanging out, playing the guitar, skateboarding, and
See, if I had been a
Just being a
professor of
teenager.
yours, I would have said, come to my office, why are you here? First question, why are you here? And you know, and I'll use an example of a real example I had where I had a student who was just like you, like not into it, not like, why are you here? And there's multiple stories like this, but why are you here? Because my parents want me to, because I watch TV, I don't know, blah, blah. They think I should do this. Yeah, but what do you want to do? I like cooking. You like cooking? We got a culinary program just down the hall. I can introduce you to all the chefs and all the program and everything. And jump ahead to a couple years, and he was working, probably still working, at a restaurant in Belleville, a higher end place.
Nice.
You know, as a sous chef and loving life. He hardly talked at all in the program. First time I see him at this place working in the kitchen, it's open air kitchen. He's like, "Hey, Paul, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh my God," more words than he'd ever said in the program because he finally found what he wanted.
Yeah.
So you know, it wasn't that he was dumb. Wasn't that he just that he wasn't where he was meant to be.
No. And I'm a firm believer that people know in their hearts what they want to do, right? And especially getting into the creative world is a really weird world because it's so like
it's stigmatized too.
It's stigmatized and it's mixed up, right? So you've got these people getting into it because they want to be on YouTube or they want to do X, Y, Z, right? When they don't want to do the work that's involved with creativity, right? So there's definitely these weird like layers that you see, right? So. Yeah.
Before we continue, should I have more of this, or should we try the one I brought in?
It's completely up to you. Which one do you want to do? You want to go back to back, or you want to?
I'm going to do a little washy here. First of all, clean this.
See, I'm a barbarian. I'm just going to.
You're going to go right in there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what I have here is bruichladdich.
Bruichladdich.
The classic bruichladdich. Okay. I could get into the story behind why I decided to have this. A long story short, there was a documentary called Scotch. I watched it. Jim Murray.
You're telling me this, yeah.
So if you ever find that documentary Scotch, watch it and you'll understand why I decided to try this.
Nice. I love the bottle, just the color.
It's unique.
Really light.
It is very light, and get this.
I did not expect that.
It's an Eiley.
Yeah.
Now
you could smell it when it opened.
Right? A little bit of petrol.
Yeah. Now
Eiley malts tend to be darker.
That's what shocked me, is because like
Lafrague, Lagavulin, and now I want to see the lightness of it.
Yeah,
unlike an Eiley malt.
Yeah,
it's not so petrol-y, is it, peaty?
You know what it reminds me of is I think it's Cragganmore or something like that.
Cragganmore, yeah.
Maybe that's the one. It's very smooth. It's just, you're grinning. You're like, is that that's like a Macallan note.
The most silence in a podcast ever.
I know, right? Oh no, that's interesting.
It's right. It's interesting. It's different.
So it's a very thin Scotch, right? So I would feel like water over rocks right off the bat. Like you just get that kind of like bubbly feel, but not effervescent. And it's almost like, you know, when you run your hand down like the railing on like a nice
Smooth surface?
Yeah, smooth is that, along with just like that overall sense of achievement. This is a good bottle to have when you want to celebrate something. Yeah, I like that. That's nice.
I'm glad you do, because it completely unlike your typical Islay malt, right?
Yeah, if you put these like side by side, their colors represent their punchiness.
Yep.
Right? Like, this one's going to be a bit more brasher, but this one's going to be a bit more refined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Love
smooth,
it, yeah. It's not Macallan smooth, I will say that.
No.
Like Macallan's definitely that kind of the rounded edges. This has got a little bit of sharper on the edges.
How much is a bottle of Macallan today?
120. I just no
time,
reason.
This particular bottle, 75. I think.
See, that's not too bad at all.
Yeah, so not terrible, not terrible.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, this bottle here I thought I saw it for 45.
It's been on for 45 before. Yeah.
This may be
ridiculous.
something we purchased on the way home today.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That is ridiculously good. And this is just now, the classic laddie, which is kind of funny because the classic in what way? I didn't know the primary laddie, so I don't know the classic laddie. I don't know the difference.
I just think it just represents the classic laddie.
Yeah.
Right? You're just, a worker, come home, you just want a nice scotch. It's
That's
a classic
Jim.
laddie.
And that's Jim.
Yep.
Started working when he was 13.
Yep.
In distilleries.
There you go.
So anyways, see the documentary and you'll have an even greater appreciation for what you just have there.
So
learning.
Still learning. It's a 50 too. It's a 50. Like I can taste it like right off the bat on the edges of my tongue. I'm like, oh, that's a strong one. That's a sneaky strong, because you don't know until you start drinking it too much. You're like, oh, okay, that's going to hit. So when you got done your education, you went into the working field.
Right into it. I was actually.
Were you prepared? Did you feel prepared?
Oh, more than prepared.
Yeah, you were ready to go.
The funny thing is, if I could go through my time as a student in content creation again, I don't say this because I'm now an educator working at a particular place, but I would go through my program now.
I think I honestly,
back then.
I see the value in the program that comes with what you're doing.
Yeah,
and only because like in our studio alone, we have 3 graduates from there, right? Which is huge, right? When you start to look at it. And I know that as we expand, I know that's where I'm going to be pulling from first, right? Because it's just the reality is as they come out of there, they need to get some experience out there, and we're a great starting point. We're not the end point for them by any means, but we're a good place. We could be, absolutely. But as we grow, I want to see those guys grow, because what we want to build out is far more than just simple like photo or video. We're talking graphic, we're talking web as well. So all of that stuff I can see being sourced directly from them. And that's
what I mean by the difference of I wish I had been gone through. I don't have any regrets, don't get me wrong, but the difference is coming out of the program I went through. You didn't get a taste. You don't have the like. What our program now, what we say when we sell it, if I'm at an open house, or if I'm, if we were talking to get people to come to our program, I would say you get this tool belt from day 1, and day 2, you're getting this tool, day 3, this tool, and so on, until you get this vast array of all the tools. You get the full 360 experience, yada, yada, and you come out of it. So when I'm sitting across as a graduate, when I'm sitting across from a potential employer, they say, what can you do? Our students can say, what do you need? I can do it all. I prefer to do this, but I can do this. I can do that. I can do whatever. But this is my forte, but I also know this, and this. Whereas when I went through the program, you came out, you pretty much knew 1 or 2 things.
This?
Or. And our program at Ryerson, the Rye grads, as we're known, not me specifically, and I wouldn't say too many my year, but there's a history of Ryerson grads thinking they're producers right out of the gate. And it's like, it was the worst reputation going in. Oh, so Mr. Producer. I'm like, no, where's the broom? I'm ready to do anything. But so anyways, so my experience was I started working while I was in school as an intern. Not an official internship, just a assistant volunteer, basically.
So where did you work?
Insight Productions.
So that was a production house? Or
and
what do they do?
They are, you've ever heard of Canadian Idol? Or The Amazing Race? That's them.
Okay.
Now, back then, they were known for Ready or Not, which was a teen, kind of like a teen soap opera sitcom kind of thing. Not really sitcom. Anyways, teen drama, really, more than anything else. and the award-winning, blah, blah, blah. They had a show that I worked on called Pumped, which was the first show I ever worked on. Pumped.
Oh, if we said Punked.
Oh, not Pumped.
Back in Punked.
No, but Pumped, which was like a kid's sports show.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of skating specials. And they did the Junos and the Geminis. They did a lot of live events.
Yep.
But they did a lot of skating shows, like, with...
Go figure, Canada.
Oh, yeah. But they were preeminent in that regard. And award shows and so on. And they started expanding their roster. And then Canadian Idol came along. This is after I left. Yeah. But I worked on Canadian Idol with them through having worked with them when I was in school and after graduation. I went back a few times. And Canadian Idol was probably one of the best gigs because it was so easy. It was such a vast, huge budget show.
And like you have one thing to do, like hold this stick or move that box.
I was a features producer. So I was basically hired by my mentor, who was, the supervising producer for the features. And basically I would go in on a Wednesday at the office. I'd get a package like this thick that was, my itinerary, my flight itinerary, hotel information, my crew information, and itinerary minute by minute, beat by beat of what we were going to do on the shoot day.
Yeah, you don't get time to think.
I didn't have to think. It was all there. I'm like, any monkey can do this, but you find out soon after, like that was the imposter syndrome. Like, oh, anybody can do this. Why am I doing this? Then you find out afterwards, no, there's a certain skill set that I have that I didn't realize I possessed where it fits for me. Yep. And an easy gig. Go in on Wednesday, get my package, fly out on a Friday night, hang out with a friend. That's, for instance, go to Calgary to interview Melissa O'Neill. Okay. And this was in the top 10 push. Okay. So the top 10, they all go back home. So we're doing the hometown bios. Yep. So wake up on Saturday morning, crew picks me up at say 7:30 in the morning, head to the airport, meet Melissa as she comes through the gate, and all their friends and family and everybody's holding the signs going, "We'll go, Melissa," and then follow her through the day. And there's an itinerary. We're going to go to her old school. We're going to, meet her drama teacher and her singing coach or whatever, interview them, follow her to her old place of work, interview them, go to the high school where she, a summer camp with some kids, talk to the kids that she taught basketball to, and then go to her high school for some big rally, and then home to her place for a barbecue, and then 5 o'clock, I'm done. And all I had to do was their questions were written for me. Everything was there. It's like, where's my creativity coming? I mean, I had to do the interview, but the questions were right there.
Did you start to feel like a button pusher?
100%. Yeah. But there was, what I realized after the fact was, it's this relationship that was important. Yes, these buttons here that are laid out for me, and I'm told, press this one, then this one, this one. That's fine. It's how you do it. Okay. And that's what I didn't recognize I had in me, which is the how, the people skills or whatever. So that's the little minutia of my career is based off of more about this, my personal skills than it was about my hard skills. So and which is probably why I gravitated towards becoming director, producer. Yep. There is a set of skills that you need for that. Yeah. But for the most part, it's just being a good person and making somebody feel comfortable, and then being able to get the best out of them.
Can any skill be taught, or do you feel like there's some skills that just have to be like in that person to start with?
Ooh, my knee-jerk reaction is not everything can be taught. Okay. I think you can foster and develop and incubate, if you will, skills. Yep. Go into Rob Housam, who was a guest here, and just
name dropping. Emmy,
I got a name drop.
Emmy nominated people like that.
Emmy nominated, camera person. Yeah. Well, he's a guy who came into the program already possessing those skills, and you could see that. It's like, this kid's going places. Let's prop him up. Not to say that we ignore the rest. No, but it's like you recognize this. Okay, this guy's going places. Let's make sure he gets the best foot forward. Yep. But there are those who don't know what they want to do. No.
Is it they don't know, or they haven't found it yet?
They haven't found it, and they will say, "I don't know." Yeah. Like I remember, everything, for every year. Orientation week. So what do you want to do? Editor, camera, blah, blah. I remember this one guy, Glenn, was like, I don't know anything to do with sports. Yeah. Okay, all right. But I really don't know. Edit, camera, direct, produce, I have no idea. Yeah. Well, he works at TSN now. I think he's actually in Brady's class, if I'm not mistaken. Is he? But he went on TSN, became an editorial assistant, and has worked his way up.
Who's this?
Glenn. Johnson. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm forgetting his name. Can we cut that part? Just say it's Glenn.
Yeah.
But he's
It's like
Baseball cap backwards.
going under a bridge kind of situation.
Sorry for the technical difficulty there. There was some little crinkle in the
It's
tape.
weird, right? Yeah.
But Glenn went on to. I'm sweating profusely now.
You're welcome.
It's the scotch.
Yeah.
No, he's an example of somebody who didn't know, wasn't aware, and found his way. And there's plenty who found their way. There's some who've come in.
Yep.
Brady's a prime example. Comes in, I'm going to be an editor.
Yep.
Hates editing, loves shooting now.
He's a great shooter.
Yeah, and he can edit.
Yep.
But he preferred to shoot.
When I first started seeing his stuff, I was like, you need to shoot more of this. And it was in the documentary stuff. And he had one shot, and he showed me his reel. And I'm like, that one shot, you need to build your reel like that one shot. And it was literally of this kid sitting there eating out of a saucepan. And I'm just like, that shot there is everything that I want to see in the work that I push forwards. And so if he could replicate that, which he could, and then he does it in spades now, that has become the voice.
What was it specifically in that shot you saw?
It was just you got an emotion, right? So like, and we keep, still to this day, we always ask ourselves why, right? You can shoot the best video. It doesn't matter. It's the why that counts, right? If you've got like absolutely.
Did you just get shot?
I think that's the hour. Is that the hour?
Is that the hour?
45 is supposed to be just a hand wave at 45.
She cheated.
She just wanted to shoot me. She's been looking forward to it.
I'm scared now.
Yeah. So for me, it's like when you start seeing pretty visuals, well, everybody can do those with a little bit of effort. And that's a horrible thing to say.
Are you setting me up here?
No, because they can, though, right?
No, 100%.
You can 100% create good visuals.
Sure.
What you can't create is the why.
Yeah.
And the why requires a couple of things. It requires self-sacrifice, it requires awareness, and it requires a direction.
And discipline. Discipline to go after it and stick to it, as opposed to, pretty picture.
Yeah.
No, forget the shiny thing.
Yeah.
Go for it with the heart.
Yeah.
And don't go for here. Go for here. Yeah. And there's so many cliches here, one after the other. To go.
Give me 5.
But if you don't understand why, first of all, why do you do what you do? You don't have to answer, but why do you do what you do?
I know exactly why.
Yeah, you do.
I know because
and we each have our own answers.
Yeah, I know.
And everybody should.
Because when I grew up and when I was doing what I was doing and actually understanding, no one was there to support. There's no one. Like when I went and talked to photographers, no one would tell me what they're pricing. They wouldn't tell me how to shoot. Nothing. And I had one guy who kind of showed me a couple of things, but he's still very guarded because he didn't want me to be close to that handshake, right? So he's still very guarded on it. But the reality is there's nobody there to help support. That's the majority of the industry. Yeah.
That's the majority of the industry.
So my why is to upset that in a way that no one's done before. Yeah. Is to make a place where, anybody on this set knows exactly what's happening at any time.
Yeah, you don't have your cards like this.
No.
In fact, they're probably transparent cards.
Yeah, like full transparency. Mm-hmm. I've been talking to Rob about how he transitions to that next stage. Because he's come to me and said, well, how do I do this? I'm like, well, let me show you what I know. And I can only show you what I know. I can't show you what I don't know. Right? I know this works. I know this works. And maybe this works. Give it a shot.
Give it a shot. Well, and that's where you have to trip through it. You have to trip upwards.
Yes.
And I think is the best way of putting it. I mean, we can stumble down the stairs, but I think you need to trip upwards.
Yeah.
Maybe you skip it. It's like snakes and ladders. I say this to students all the time. The industry is snakes and ladders. My experience has been snakes and ladders. Sometimes I'm here and sometimes I'm here. Like, this gig wasn't so great. This gig, et cetera, et cetera. I've been lucky enough that it's been mostly upwards. But you got to, once in a while, you stumble upwards. So, take the risk, Rob. Take the risk.
Exactly, yeah. He's going to do well.
Yeah, he already is.
He's already doing amazing.
Yeah, so we got to stop talking about him. Jesus, his head's not going to fit through the door.
Now, in today's market, the world has changed. You can go to YouTube. You can watch an infinite amount of videos on how to pick up a camera and shoot and make a beautiful image. What is the defining feature of a creative today that is able to break free of all that noise? And how do they position themselves in a way that they can position themselves for success?
Passion is the first thing. If you really think you want to be, let's say, camera person, you want to be a camera person, you better have a passion for it. Just having the desire to do what somebody else does is not enough.
No.
Do you understand what's involved? Of course you don't understand everything that's involved, but do you have a strong idea? How are you going to get that strong idea? You can watch all the videos you want, but having a conversation with somebody who is where you want to be or in on that path is the best way. Where do you find those people? You can find them in forums. You can find them in, groups, online groups and so on that you can belong to through Patreon or whatever. And you can pay for those memberships and get that. And that's totally fine.
Yep.
But I think there's nothing compared to, my colleague, I don't want to say ex-colleague because he's still around, but he retired.
Yep.
Claude Garapi is a prime example of somebody that, without him, for a lot like Brady, Rob, Trina, the list of students who've gone through our program, and the majority, I shouldn't say the majority, a lot of the real learning, yes, in class, he'll teach you to push the buttons. Yes, he'll show you how to do this and how to do that, the basics, but the real learning is happening in those candid conversations outside of class time. Yeah. You're not going to get that online. You're not going to get that on Patreon. You can, I suppose, if you pay a premium to belong to the specialized smaller group within that.
You know what you're talking about, right? And COVID actually messed us up massively for this.
Hit me.
It's called the bridge, right? There's a bridge that happens between the higher level and the medium.
Right.
And those bridges got destroyed during COVID because we went online. And then people started realizing, well, I can sit at home, and especially executive level, is they sit at home, but their knowledge stays with them now. When before they would go to the water cooler and they'd be like, and then, Katie from accounting would be like, hey, can I speak to you about this for a second? And talk to them like, I'm looking to do this and I want to leverage this. Can I do that? And there was a bridge that happened.
Yep.
And it didn't happen in the meetings. It didn't happen in work time. It happened in those gaps in between.
Yep.
So what you're talking about is bridges. And that doesn't happen online.
Absolutely not.
It doesn't happen.
To be an educator online, I thought, what a cool concept. I can, wake up a little later.
Yep.
My wife can make a coffee.
Yep.
And we can enjoy coffee together, and I'll have an extra coffee. I'll take downstairs 5 minutes before class. Hey, I'm headed to class. Go downstairs to my office, have class. Midway through, maybe a break, I'll come up and fill up my coffee, or midway through class, she'll off camera hand me a snack or whatever. And then when I'm done, 30 seconds later, I'm at home.
Yeah.
And that idea sounds fantastic.
I love the idea of the pajama commute.
Sure, it's great.
Yep.
Until you sit in front of, I now understand Black Mirror more than ever. I mean, the term Black Mirror.
Oh, just
because imagine looking at that screen, but instead of faces, all I'm seeing is either a blank screen or avatars.
Yep.
And I'm talking to that, and everybody's muted. You're saying, you're reacting as we have this conversation,
Yes.
a dialogue, not a monologue.
Yes, a duo. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's energy back and forth. I'm reacting to the way you're looking at me. I'm reacting to your physical whatever. You're nodding and so on. Your reactions dictate my next thing I'm going to say or whatever.
If you see me get excited, then you're like, oh,
I'm on.
I'm going to double down on this.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not getting any of that on that screen. So it was horrid. And there was no chance. Like once class was over, it was over. Whereas class is over now in person.
And they can come to you.
And there's a lineup of people.
Yep.
Some of them with legitimate, serious questions. Some of them just want to shoot the shit.
Yep.
And the shooting the shit, I could go on for hours.
Yeah.
Right, Trina?
She's got the hand on the Nerf gun.
Yeah. Don't shoot me for that. But yeah, and Claude was exactly. I mean, so many times people sitting on the edge of Claude's desk, and he's sitting and they're just talking about stuff. And he had pictures of times, moments in his career.
Yep.
That were up on the wall, and they served as touchstones to moments that he could refer to depending on the conversation you were having.
Yep.
Oh, when I was in this helicopter doing this, blah 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 blah. Oh, when I was on at base camp at Mount Kilimanjaro, et cetera, et cetera. These and he would relate those to whatever it was that the conversation was about, and somebody would walk away going, I feel a bit more empowered with knowledge through Claude.
Yep.
And I'd like to think that I offered similar, nowhere near the vast experience that he had as a DOP, camera operator, whatever. But that sort of learning, that to me, that's the difference between somebody going online and going, I have a propensity for handling a camera.
Yeah.
I don't need to go to school. No film school. I hate that account, because everybody's like, see, you don't need college, you don't need school.
But
it works for the person running it to make money.
Yeah.
And sure, you can learn if you have the formal education and then join that.
Yeah.
You can build upon, and it's lifelong learning.
Yep.
But to not go to school and just rely on something like that.
No film school. So like things like that. No film school. The magic of that is the self-learning, which is great if you're a self-learner. We talked about different kind of learners at the beginning, right?
Self-learners are few and far between. They're great.
I don't know about that. I think that I've seen. So here's a wonderful
You're surrounding
story.
yourself by really talented people who are smart.
Not necessarily.
Yeah?
So let me give you a lovely story. So, and I'm sorry to my kid's teacher for telling this story. So, at the beginning of COVID, my youngest would go into school, should log in. We might have to, yeah.
I'm with
and then, so we'd log in, and basically, it was all day. She would do lessons, and she'd learn lots, and she'd come out and she'd tell us all about the stuff that she's learning, and it was amazing. We're like, okay, this COVID thing may not be that bad, right? And then fast forward a week, and she's like, so we need to talk about Poppy. And I'm like, and this Poppy's my youngest. And we're like, okay, what's going on? She's like, well, she checks in at the beginning, but then she disappears all day. So we confronted her, and because she's been showing us all the lessons she's doing. Like, she's been learning about volcanoes. She's done this thing. She's done all of these things. Now you got to remember, my wife's a teacher. That's
Right.
that's a key moment here. So we get there, and so like, well, what's going on? Like, what happened? And she's like, well, the teacher kind of gave us the assignments, and I didn't really like them. They were kind of boring. So I made up my own classes.
Okay.
Now, but at a high level. We're talking like she's actually learning shit.
Yeah.
She's like, find out more about volcanoes. And then she's like going, and like she's got things about magma and stuff like this. And we're just like, she's learning a lot of good stuff here. But
Now,
she did it completely self-propelled.
Okay, so there is a happy medium that exists in very few schools.
Yes.
We came from Hamilton, and my wife went to Westmount in Hamilton.
Yeah.
And I think it was after you went there that they developed a program where you learn at your own pace. And you sort of devise, there's lessons, there's whatever, that's really good, isn't it?
Have you tried it after that?
No.
Oh, try it now.
This is back to the sexton after the Brook
Yes,
Laddie.
I've noticed, yeah. I always love trying scotches back to back because it just changes the way they taste.
This
That's your starter.
Sure.
And
this
then-
has its moments
Yes.
of where it's I will choose when I will have this. This isn't any time.
Yeah.
To me, it's an any time.
This is so I more often than not will give this to people because it doesn't matter if you're a Scotch drinker or not. You'll
Correct.
drink that and be like, ooh, that's okay.
It's like a flavor infused cigar. You don't like cigars, but try this. It's got like
a
some
menthol,
coffee and
menthol
and,
cigarette.
menthol cigarette. There you go. Yeah. Now that's a whole different thing altogether. Okay, but this school,
Yeah.
Westmount, that's really good. Westmount, you do. So our daughter went there for grade 9 or grade 10. Grade 9. She went there, and it was basically you have your whatever amount of semesters, and you can, if you're really good at math, you can speed through and theoretically be done in 2 weeks the whole semester. Or you could take your time, and basically in 2 weeks you can say, I'm ready for my exam.
Yep.
And take the exam and be done that course. Or if you need more time, you can take the full amount of time.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that was kind of neat. I mean, it wasn't
Was
like,
this during COVID?
No, this is prior
This
to
is
COVID.
just-
this is in person.
This is in general?
Yeah, and
Okay.
the school still exists to this day. And there was, I believe,
And this is your daughter took this?
yeah,
What did
for
she
1
choose?
year.
What did she choose? Did she do it all up front or did she space it out?
What'd she do?
She pretty much just wanted to know.
She went at a normal pace.
normal
Yeah,
pace,
okay.
okay.
But there were people who I'm really good at this. I don't like math. I'm gonna have to take more
Okay.
time on math, but I can speed through this, be done with it, and just focus on the math
Yep.
or whatever else it was that they were doing. So I can't quite remember how she worked. I mean, she only went there for a year, then we moved out here.
Yep.
But then I know that the Australian Board of Education actually looked into that particular program
Oh, no.
to emulate. So there was some relations there. Anyways, but it was in the idea of self-learning.
Yes.
In a relatively controlled parameters is certainly, and that's the big difference. There's still she's
still got
in a-
parameters there. It's
there's
not truly self-learning at that point, right?
No.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that get the formal education,
Yep.
or find a really good online learning environment that you can then self-learn beyond that. Parameters are necessary.
Let me ask you a really hard question.
Okay.
As an educator, this is going to be a tough one for you. Let's say they don't want to do school. Let's say school's not an option for them, right?
Fine.
Bad kid, been kicked out of school, we'll say, something like that.
Yep.
What does a kid do to get started in the creative industry today to become successful and to set themselves up for success in the future? But you're not allowed to use schooling.
I get it. I got an answer. I'm just trying to like formulate this in as small a nut as possible, nutshell as possible. It's like a plumber or, a cooper. You know what a cooper is? Somebody who makes barrels, wine barrels, whiskey barrels. A cooper, there's no real formal school for, there might be now, but there's no real cooperage. It's like, there's no school.
There's a whole school raging at you right now. Probably. It's like, how can you not know us? We're the premium barrel makers.
Come to this place in Kansas where, sure. You want to be a cooper, you're going to need to apprentice. You want to be a really good plumber. Now, of course, you can go to school, but where do you get the real learning to be a mechanic or a plumber or these hands-on skilled labor where the money really is?
Right now it is.
Yeah, sure. And it will be increasing because the number of skilled laborers out there are, try and call a plumber right now and see how soon you can get somebody.
I'm bad because I have really good connects.
Okay, there you go. Okay, but I'll tell you right now, it is
most
tough.
people don't.
And they're booked for months ahead.
Yep.
So, traditionally, if you want to become an electrician, a plumber, a whatever, you would apprentice with somebody who was established in that field, and they wouldn't formally educate you. You would just through osmosis, you'd be by their side. You'd help them carry gear into the house. They would do stuff. You'd watch them. And if they had time, when they had time, they might mention, hey, you see what I'm doing here? This is a little trick I'll teach you. And that's how you would learn. And you'd be apprenticing for a year, 2, 10 years, who knows how long.
But what they would do too is that at some point, they would then transition them and say, you're going to do this, but then take evening classes to become a licensed plumber. Or a licensed. So how do we do this without that point?
Well, in our industry, you don't need to be a licensed camera person. You don't need to be a licensed editor. You don't need, there's no like.
So to get into the union, so you can't get into the union without formal education, correct? Is that still the case?
Not as far as I know.
Not anymore. Okay.
No,
it used to be you had to have formal to get into like.
It's like joining
union.
the Masons, I suppose. If I knew about exactly what that
roll
entails.
Up your pant leg and off you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But you have to be invited.
Yes.
And then once you're invited, then it's like the door's open.
Yeah.
So find my I guess to make this story shorter, find somebody that you know is in the industry doing what you like to do, and ask them, can I go under your wing? I will work for free.
How long should you work for free?
Ooh, I don't like this.
I know you don't.
When you go to school, you don't go for free. You pay to go.
How long should you work for free?
Without a formal education, 2 weeks, 2 years. How long is a string? It all depends on so much. That's a really tough question. How long? I can't put a number on it. Put it this way. When I interned at Insight, week 1, there was 5 of us. At the end of the week, there was 1, me. Mm-hmm. Everybody else was like, nah, this isn't for me, we're not doing anything. We're just like,
attrition.
Yeah. And after 2 weeks in, we'll pay you. I was getting paid $200 a week.
Yep.
To come in a couple of times a week.
So you're relying on people's goodwill at that point.
Yeah, at that point, which is why I say how long is a string for this? There's no formal sort of like path when we're talking about non-school apprentice.
Sure.
But if you go to school, you're spending tens of thousands of dollars when all is said and done. Yep. If you're going for free to apprentice with somebody, 3-year program, Trina, how much was it like a year for you when you went to the program? Do you remember how much it was?
She was just taking aim at you.
What's tuition? But let's say like when you.
The semester was about $4,000.
So let's.
About 10.
So full to 10,000.
Okay, so $10,000 for 3 years. Okay.
Sure.
Now I'm saying apprentice with somebody for much less time than that, and you don't pay.
Okay.
You just make your way.
Okay.
And maybe you're lucky enough that you'll get meals paid for, maybe transportation, but you don't have to pay for anything, but you won't get paid.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable when you compare to spending.
So I'll put this caveat. I'm gonna say yes when they're starting out, and then I'm gonna give you a curveball. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the first one is the caveat is like the first one is student coming out of school, can't do this, goes out, does that, great. Their cost of living is super low, right? Live with the parents, do this, do that, pick up an extra job, right? Like sling some like fence posts on the weekend to earn like a couple of $100, whatever. Let's talk about the people my age.
Okay.
Right. So we're talking a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
Right. Who are working, we'll say, in real estate. Okay. And they want to transition into the creative field. They can't afford to go to school, but they can't afford to be unpaid intern.
Right.
What would you do then?
As the person or as the employer?
I'm asking you. Because you got to pay your bills. You've got kids now. You got to, well, hopefully you have a house or like somewhere of living. So you've got to pay the rent. The legend of the rent is due.
Yeah, I would volunteer my time initially for a short period of time and work my ass off to prove my passion and my ability to be coached. My learning, tell me once, twice maybe, definitely not 3 times.
Yep.
I will figure it out.
I love that.
Prove it, and then say, okay, up front, say, you don't have to tell me twice.
Yep.
I will learn. I'm a fast learner. I have a passion. I'm dying to do this. Here's my proof. I'm not leaving a career because I was forced to. I'm leaving a career because I want to.
You're coming into a career as a wolf. You're not coming as a pup.
Correct. Right? I'm not being chased towards you.
Yep.
I am running towards you willingly. Okay. Yep. So that's my first point of proof, if you want to say, whatever.
Your first caveat. Yeah.
Okay. Is that's I want this.
Yes.
I don't need this. I need it in my heart, but I don't need it in my wallet.
Okay.
What I do need, though, in order to pursue my passion, I need to sort of pay the bills. What can I do for you to prove my worth?
Okay.
Prove the worth in a finite amount of time. 2 weeks, a month. I don't know. It all depends on the situation.
I think in that your timelines change. Like when you're young, you can spend, 2 weeks to 2 years kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
When you get older, that timeline shrinks.
I don't believe in free work anyways, to be honest.
I mean, like for me, I don't like the idea of an intern. I think if an intern's going to be in, like if we bring an intern in here, it's for a short period of time. There's like 1 week, maybe 2 at the most.
Yeah.
But at that point, I'll either know if you're ready for it, right? As in, we're going to pay you, or B, if you're suited to this industry.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you too. And I'll say, like, this is where I see you going. This is what I recommend. This is an overall, prove me wrong, please.
Please prove me wrong. Yeah.
Right? Please.
Yeah.
But this is where I see you right now.
Yeah.
Right? Without an adjustment. Right?
So I think if we had a roundtable discussion with industry members, it would be a heated, never-ending discussion. And the reason why I say that is because we have had this discussion at the college level amongst in our PAC, or our program advisory committee, and ourselves, figure like, okay, what's a reasonable amount of time for our placement period?
But you're also, that's an educational thing. It's an education for learning, right? So like they have that option, and they're like, if I was getting into this industry today and had the option to pay like $10,000 for a year and be placed into a production house for like 2 weeks, where I could learn everything from every single person. That's my point.
The 2 weeks versus the 4 weeks versus the 6 weeks.
Exactly.
So that the industry will say 4 weeks is what we were given. 4 weeks is not enough. 8 weeks would be ideal.
Yep.
Because just as we're beginning to get them on board with what they need to know, and they're beginning to really feel it, they're gone. And with 8 weeks, you get a full on, we give you and we get what we want in return.
Yep.
4 weeks is too short. 6 weeks was the compromise. And then in my personal opinion, in all of that is that none of it should be free.
Yeah.
That's my personal. No, none of it should be free.
Why should it be free?
I don't understand.
There is no such thing as free work, right? If they're working for free, they're learning.
Sure.
But there comes a point where they're learning, and that's my point.
Yeah.
Like, how long does it take you to learn? Well, it takes years. Well, should you work for years? Like in the old school way, sure, that's what you did. But you also had to pay like 12 pence to survive for a week. Life's changed. Yeah. You can't just have that anymore. You can't have that entrepreneur / apprentice kind of relationship. That apprentice needs to learn. And that's the trick, and that's the bridge that we're not seeing right now. And for me, like seeing free paid labor is not a thing.
At the same time, in a short amount of time, not the 8 weeks, not the 6 weeks, not even 4 weeks, I can guarantee you in 2 days of real work, I can gauge whether you belong here or don't.
Absolutely.
So this bullshit of like, it needs to be here for 8 weeks, or I've heard 6 months unpaid. the fuck are you doing? If you need that person to do what you're getting them to do for free, then clearly you need that as a regular thing.
As a revenue
then why
stream.
haven't you budgeted for that?
Exactly.
And your crew and your
And that
whatever.
just becomes greed.
It is greed. It is 100% greed. And then, but the industry, then you know what? Then rally the troops and have some sort of revolution about how the industry should be run. Have a strike. Well, if you're an actor or if you're a writer, strike.
Like, really?
No,
but no, because I mean, it's true though. Like, look what's happening now when you look at like SAG, right?
Yeah.
And you look at, there was one actor that I was like, oh, I know this actor. And then he's like, I made 15,000 for like the 2 seasons I was in. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm sitting there doing the math because like we hire people to do acting and models. And so I know, because I'm the one that does the kind of budgeting for that stuff. And I'm sitting there going like, there's no way I would consider that. Right. And we're on the low end compared to them. And so here they are at TV level, like actual like shows. And one of their primary actors is barely making enough to cover rent. He's got a part-time job elsewhere, and he's doing another job elsewhere. And it's like,
now the counter to that, the argument against that would be, to somebody might on the outside of that, and I've seen it a million times, is like, you chose that profession, suck it up.
no, I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either. I don't believe that either at all.
So here's an interesting thing, and this is going to ruin my chances of working with him, and frankly, it probably won't happen at this point. So, in the recent Mission Impossible, Simon Pegg bid for his job at about 2.2 mil. Ended up getting, I think it was about 1.8. I'm probably screwing these numbers up. His co-worker, same thing. She bid at 2. She got like 1.5. And then Tom Cruise bid at 80 million and got 80 million. Now, he happens to be the producer.
Yeah. He's bidding against himself.
The discrepancy between, and so his idea is that, well, I'm Tom Cruise. That sells the movie. And it just happens to be.
He's not wrong, unfortunately.
He's not wrong. But is there an 40 times difference between where he is and where Simon Pegg is? I don't believe. I've seen Simon Pegg stuff, and like if you combine like Simon Pegg and like Edgar Wright, you have some of the best cinema you'll ever see.
100%.
Right?
Get him with Nick Frost.
Nick Frost is amazing too.
And you got a fun duo having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just a fun movie, right? But the reality is like there is this gap that's occurring between, and it's not just in like actors. We're talking like producers. We're talking
CEOs
across the board.
Are the prime CEOs are the most disgusting example.
Yep.
Right. And how much work do they do?
They were closer to the handshake.
They are the handshake, but that's all they are.
And that's a problem.
That's a major problem. I saw a hand go up over there. What was that? There's a hand go?
Like she's run out of bullets and she's trying to shoot us.
Bullets and you're like at a minute 10, minute 11.
Oh.
See, this is where we wrap.
Okay.
So you're unfinished, yet at the same time, you're ready for the next one.
Continue this conversation another time.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Oh, not at all. Bottom line, I will say this. There should be no free work for longer than 2 days.
I would say 2 weeks.
Okay. I'll accept that. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Fine.
Half a month. Like if you're not going to know.
If you as the employer can't figure out
how to employ them,
then what are you doing?
I have an internal rule, and this is like basically an internal rule. The highest paid person, not the business. So I want you to like disassociate the business from the person, but the highest paid person on set should only make 3 times the amount of what the lowest paid. So if you want to raise the director rate, which is usually the highest rate, you've got to raise everyone below.
Somebody's going to label you a communist or a socialist.
That's fine.
That's fine. Exactly.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because that's the way shit should be done.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, I would happily have a profit share if the company was big enough.
And there are companies doing that.
And they're
more
absolutely killing it.
And people are happy. Look at Costco. Yeah. Walk into Costco and look at the employers lined up. Is there a sad face amongst them?
Have you ever seen an unhappy Costco worker?
Right? Like I'm looking at my wife because we go to Costco together, and
exactly,
we say this. We say what the $500 store?
You're lucky then.
Yeah. Well, that was back like 20 years ago when we started going. But
our last one was.
But there's profit sharing. I'm now personally invested in the success of this company as opposed to. Okay, can I say this really quick? So a friend of mine, John, works for a friend of his right now. He was in the banquet hall business for 37 years. Okay. They had one of the best banquet halls in Canada, if not the best one. And they recently sold it, and he's gone off and he's, semi-retired, but his friends have drawn him into a construction company as sort of like he's in management basically. The scotch has hit me and I've forgotten the point of this story.
Keep going. You take a sip that will remind you.
Remind me what we were just saying?
John.
Yes, but before
Construction.
that. Before that. Costco, profit sharing. Right. So there's guys that he's dealing with.
I feel like we just hit the reset button.
Oh my God, yeah. I won't go too long, I promise. But so I know you have to edit this, Trina. I know. But basically, I don't care.
She's asleep by now. She's like,
no kidding.
Dad.
Better not be, otherwise it's gonna be a shit podcast. He works at a company where he cares, and he was brought in, and he has nothing invested other than he's getting paid to be there. And the guys who run the company, they care because it's their company. But they have people there who, like, they just go in and they do the bare minimum. And they, in some cases, the stories he's telling me on a daily basis, I'm like, that's less than bare minimum. Get rid of them, but he can't. And it's like, they don't give a shit. All they care about is the end, like getting their pay. Yep. Now, and I said to him, imagine if they had like profit sharing or they had investment in the company, how much would their tune change? You mean I don't just make my $30 an hour. Now it's $30 an hour plus if the company does this well, I'm going to get an extra bonus of 10,000 end of the year. I'm going to make sure that this company thrives. Do I need to say more? That's to me, that's Costco, that's profit sharing. Imagine in our industry doing that.
But you're also looking at the why.
Well, then, okay, why are you here?
But you're looking at the why. That's the difference, right? The companies that implement the why
are few and far between.
They are.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that are successful.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's that little box of scariness, right? Where it's like, there's ambiguity in there. There's a whole bunch of like unknowns in there. But the reality is that box is what drives people forwards, right? And this is what we do for all of my clients is we sit there and we talk about their why. And they sit there and they'll say, well, because we've got to do this. We've got to sell this. We've got to sell. Forget that.
Forget the sell.
Why do you do this? Yeah. Right? And it really makes them uncomfortable because the ones, and I'm very, very capable of weeding out the people who actually are capable of making the choices regarding the brand. And if they're not, then I move on to the person that is. And that is a very simple question of why.
Yeah.
Right? In closing, I would like to talk about where you see education going. And Trina's like, look at me like, don't make this go any longer.
She's reloading. Oh, that was air.
Okay, give us 10 minutes. 10 minutes on that.
10 minutes.
That's
okay.
a 10-minute bullet. Okay, so I want to talk about where education needs to go to be successful. Like, we can't ignore the fact that technology is very useful, right? When we look at like online courses, there was immense value in them, right? As someone who's now semi-good at doing CG work, I can tell you, as someone who did it completely online, there is benefit to it. Right? So take a look 15 years, 20 years in the future, not like today. Okay. But I want to see what do you see being the future of education?
Okay. I'll tell you what it shouldn't be.
And I would like to add in, you must incorporate current tools.
Okay.
Which means AI is now a common thing, not just a contested thing, right? The same as like calculators were contested before and they're now common. AI is now a common thing. Okay, where do you see like actual education going in the future?
What I hear a lot about is, this is what I think it shouldn't be, is micro-credentialing. Okay. So you go in and if you are straight out of high school, it works for certain people. It would work for. Micro-credential works for. Sure. And I'll explain what that exactly is for those who don't know. I'm actually,
like, as someone who knows terms like that, usually this one is new to me.
So micro-credential is basically, okay, so the macro-credential is you take 3-4 year program, you get your piece of paper and go, I'm this. Yeah. You're not. But I'm this.
Yes.
I'm on my way.
I kind of have a clue of what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And therefore you should hire me. Yeah. Micro-credential is, okay, let's say one of those courses out of the 30 that you took over those 4 years, you're now just going to take that one course and be credentialed for that particular skill set.
So you're not really good at Microsoft Word.
Sorry?
You're not really good at Microsoft Word.
And that's all.
Yes.
Unless you did micro-credential something else, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, you spent this little bit of money. Yeah. 30 times over, you spent actually in the end more than if you just took the one time. And for some people who are later on in life who want to transition, maybe I just need this. I don't want to learn storytelling. I just want to learn how to work a camera. I don't want to work a camera. I want to learn storytelling. I want to, whatever it is, you can go. Prime example is you learn how to install windows in construction.
Okay.
And that's all you're going to learn. And that's all you're going to do. Good fucking luck.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be that one person when in that industry. You cannot just be that one person in our industry. You have to understand how it connects to the rest of the pieces. You may just be an editor for the rest of your life, but you're not a good editor if you don't know what a camera person does. You are definitely not a good camera person and definitely not a good director if you don't know what it takes to shoot or edit. Yeah. Because you need to think, as a camera person, you need to think like an editor. An editor needs to understand a story. There's more than just one thing. Window installation, you need to understand how it all fits together and how, like, you know, these other métiers, these other whatever skills.
Tu peux dire en français, tu veux.
OK, on peut faire en français, ah ouais. Mais eux autres, pour pas comprendre.
Tu imagines s'il est en train de faire en français et puis on fait tout le reste en français.
I love it, though. I love it. Or a Scottish accent or Irish. Anyways. So my thing about micro-credential, that is something that is being pushed because it invites people to come in.
So is that going to be a thing or is it going to be gone?
No, it's coming.
Do you think it's going to be prominent or do you think it's going to be fringe?
If the bean counters have their way.
Do you think it's going to be fringe?
Or do you think I get what you're doing here. The way things have been going, it will be prominent for a short time. And by a short time, I mean it's got to have its 5-year cycle.
Yeah.
It's got to be thought about.
Education is usually a 5 to 10 cycle.
Yeah.
Right? Because the time you realize you fucked up, you're 5 years in, and then you spend 5 years trying to prove that you're right.
Oh yeah, or you've started something and you've got to transition out anyways. Yep. You're a 3-year program. We realize after year 1 this isn't working. You still got to finish those 2 years that they signed up for.
Yep.
So that to me is why no matter how good or bad, you've got at least 5 years of this shit.
So fringe wise,
I think it becomes fringe, and I think it's always existed.
Yes,
and it will always exist.
I think YouTube is going to double down on it.
YouTube or whatever platform, whether it's Thinkific.
I think the next thing is YouTube is going to double down on it because right now they have like subscription. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to switch to like education models like that. And I think you're going to have those, you got micro learning.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have those micro learning packages where like learn how to pick up a microphone, learn how to create a hook.
How much do you love as somebody in the content creation behind the scenes? How much do you love Final Cut?
I don't know Final Cut.
So talk to an editor about Final Cut, where it was and what it became.
Okay.
Final Cut was a whole big package. It had all the bells and whistles. You bought one price, you got everything.
Everything, yeah.
And all of a sudden they introduced, you're going to get the bare minimum, and then you're going to pay for all the add-ons.
Okay, that's Cinema 4D for me.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So you know, give it a name, but that model.
Exactly. You have like your base, but you don't just need the base. You need all these little pieces.
Yeah. So you got to get this micro-credential.
Okay.
That's great for that one thing. But all of a sudden you realize, but in order to do that, I need to be able to do this and this.
Okay, so we're 5 to 10 years in advance of where I want you to talk about.
Okay. So, boy, this is not 10 minutes. And it's also crystal ball gazing. It's very difficult.
Oh, I know. But I'm kind of curious as someone who's creative as long as you have, where it's going.
The people who have been in the education system. Okay, this is my answer.
All right.
The people who have done it for 10, 15, 20 years, done it by that I mean like myself, in the classroom, at an institution, being dictated by a board above them, admin above them, deans and so on. I do what I do to the best of my ability, under the parameters that I've been given, which tend to not be necessarily the way that we believe. I'll speak for myself only. The way that I believe will help that person get employed. This is very dangerous for me to say right now, but I kind of don't care. So my thought is that people like myself will venture out of the formal system.
The bubble, yeah.
Yeah. And offer an alternative way, not micro-credential necessarily, but an alternative way. And people like us will band together and have some sort of, we'll have our own like sort of I don't want to call it micro-credential, but our own sort of like stream that we will offer.
Yep.
And you can join me. And then when you join me and I'll teach you about storytelling, then I will have somebody like Brady who will teach you about camera.
Yep.
And now somebody like Chris, who will teach you about graphics.
Yep.
And we will have this sort of like online college environment that you can join. And if you want to get more specific, pay a premium, and will be more on one-on-one attentiveness, even though it's online. And then, hey, maybe if you can afford it, whatever, we can actually get together in person once in a blue moon.
So how do you build those bridges?
And that's that is an ongoing thing right now. I cannot. For me to give you an answer right now, I'd be pulling it out of my ass. Pull it out of my ass. How do I create the bridges, that personal connection?
Yeah, when we talked about the bridges, like the things in between those, all right, end of Zoom call. How do we create those bridges? Because like right now, I see the same system, just 20 years in advance.
It's going to be limiting because right now, in order for somebody who can't afford to go to college, they can get it like in Ontario. We're speaking primarily.
So your data set is Ontario.
Okay.
And education.
Okay.
Right. That's what you're going with.
So OSAP.
Okay.
You have to be going towards an accredited, recognized institution that's part of the bubble in order to get funded.
So you want to build another bubble.
But I want to build a separate bubble where instead of this formalized government sanctioned way of teaching, I'm now going to throw that away and introduce what I know is industry. Purely.
Yep.
And not watered down.
This is proven. This has been done. This is how it works currently.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean,
and we can also still look ahead because we're talking. Okay.
Yeah.
If you go the model we have now, the best part of what we're doing now is the way we personally, our program connects with our program advisory committee. We are not just like teaching what I knew back when I was in the industry 12 years ago. I'm also staying in touch with formally and informally. Formally with our program advisory committee, we have people in the industry coming together from various facets of the industry who are keeping us honest and true to what's happening now. We have the finger on the pulse of what's happening now, but not only now. What is going to be? What are the trends? What are the people looking for in the industry 3, 4, 5 years from now? Yep. So that we're teaching now what is necessary for you to know 5 years from now. Let's say 3 years from now. It's very hard for anybody to say 5 years.
Can you predict that far ahead now?
Our advisory committee can like at the various levels they're working on technologically speaking. Absolutely.
Do you think they actually can?
They have, because there's a lot of
so 3 years ago they sat there and said, you know what, ChatGPT is going to be a massive thing.
That particular thing, no. But I can say, for instance, we had EdU who is now working for the International Olympic Committee. Is like one of the head engineers.
Yep.
So he's worked with Sony in Japan years ago now, talking about 8K, talking about 20K, about technology, camera technology and broadcast technology that isn't being in use yet, but is being developed. And
do you think it's going to need to go there?
No, well, 4K is enough.
Yeah.
We don't. I mean, the human eye.
I don't
can't
think
even
4K needs to happen.
No,
and that's
look at 3D. Look at what happened with 3D.
Do you know why 3D existed? It's because it was a technology that was defunct, and they managed to change it over. That's it.
But it came and went so fast.
Yes,
everybody
because they needed to pay for the technology they made.
Right.
That's 10 minutes.
How do we end that?
So here's how we end it. So when we look into the crystal ball, which is like where education's going, right? We can see that there's going to become microcosms, right? Which is going to be good or bad, depending on you as a learner, right? As a learner, as someone who needs to be hands-on, you want to be pushing into those, more apprentice style jobs. Like find a studio that's local to you, right? Offer them something of value, right? If you go into a studio and you see 2 camera guys and, a producer and a grip, offer editing services. Say, hey, can I come in and edit some stuff for you? I'll sit there and edit it for you for free for 2 weeks.
If you find value.
If you find value, right? So that's your first, right? Your second little bubble is online learning, supplement it with in-person, right? Because there is a gap that needs to be bridged, right? And
the only problem with that is if you go online, the beauty of online from the person who's offering it and getting paid for it is I now have the world at my fingertips.
Yep.
But then that in-person aspect, I have the world at arm's length.
I always tell people when it comes to sales and like pure sales, like for businesses and people selling to people, you need to know the person, you need to like the person, you need to trust the person. You have to get those 3 together first before you land one sale. And so those things need to happen first. So as a student, what that means is those people need to go out there and they need to be known. They need to be liked, right? Like, are you going to be an asshole on set? Then you're off, right? So you got to learn to play nice with others. And can they trust you? Like, if I say to you, Paul, can you move this light to here and not break the fucking thing?
Okay.
Right?
Here's the thing that's been true since I was here's the thing that's been true since I was a student 3 years ago. 5 to 10% of the student body will make it in whatever industry that they're studying to be in. The average in my experience has been that.
Yep.
10% of the, let's be fair, 10% of the students are actually going to go on to do what it is they came to do.
Yep.
You do this micro-credential, this idea that I'm thinking of, like this online whatever, and you're talking about that trust, the triumvirate of success that you just mentioned. We see that in the students who make it. Mm-hmm. That they're the ones who are going to make it anyways. So if we could just sweep away those who we know, and there's going to be, there's always anomalies with students who, they're never going to make it. And all of a sudden something goes. Brandon Zabinelli is a prime example.
Brandon.
He's a prime example of somebody. What's that?
No, I'm just gonna throw the gun next.
but somebody who for half his time.
Brandon could be 10 minutes. Like, he is a fantastic example of, someone who's making it work, who's building upon it, and is
but he wasn't
creating.
We can say all the kudos and platitudes about him we want.
Sure.
When he was the first half of
Tell
him
me
as a
how much
student,
of an asshole he was.
Not an asshole. Like, why are you here? And he knows this. We've talked about this many times. Why are you here?
Yes.
You're just fucking around. You're like, this guy's not going to make it. He's a Christmas grad. And there was an incident. Something happened.
Christmas
light bulb
grad?
went up. Christmas grad. Yeah. Like, you're not going to make it beyond Christmas.
Okay.
First year.
Okay.
And something happened and he flipped it. And now look at him. And I mean, for anybody who knows what I'm talking
he's
about.
Phenomenal. Like,
phenomenal.
But
he was all of us collectively like, what's this? This is another waste of space in our program. Yeah. So there are the anomalies. So what I'm saying is the way that we're talking about, like, how can education work in the future? And we all of a sudden now we're narrowing the scope of who's going to be taking this stuff, because you have to be proactive and passionate. And the majority of students coming in are just going to college because they can, or because they're supposed to, not because they can, because they're supposed to.
But they have no other channel to go through.
No, and there are the anomalies of those who then will go, hey, this is for me, or they might go, this isn't for me, but this other program is. But I'm in college, so I can laterally move to another program, and I will succeed. What we're talking about here is, we're separating everything and we're going straight down the pipe to the person who belongs here right off the bat. Is that fair? Who gives a shit about fair? Is it about fair? Because right now, education is all about fair and equity and blah, blah, blah. Sure, great, whatever.
Fair is where you get cotton candy. I'm sorry, but it is like the real world still to this day. And hopefully this changes, right? To give a more equitable field, but it is not.
It's not real.
It's not real.
We're setting them up for failure.
And that's the thing, is like, but then their failure is already preset by the system because of that. Mm-hmm. And that's a hard thing to go through.
Okay, this is where we got to stop, because this is a whole other conversation.
So what I will
about
say
the
in
system.
closing is the effect of educating in this system, so in the creative world, is huge. Right. And there are people who can go out there and can learn on their own, and they can make their own mistakes, they can grow. Then there are those who need to go through systems and learn from the mistakes of others, but also make their own mistakes. The honest reality of this is, if you go out there day in, day out, and you go and do the same thing over and over again, you will never see the growth or the education that you need to be successful. Because the only success comes from stepping over that line of comfort and failing and making mistakes and looking like an idiot. If it has to be that, that's the only time that you can actually find real growth.
You know what gets in the way of that? Politics.
That's another conversation.
That's what I mean. Go up the ladder of what we do, and where the mandates come from. All depends on who the Minister of Education is, and who their boss is, and who's dictating how it should be done, and that's fucked up.
And that's a great way to end. Love it.
Awesome. More scotch.
More scotch.
He is like.